Okay, so I get questions sometimes from people saying that, how do you stay so motivated? How do you stay so driven, right? I'll tell you what are the steps behind this whole process. See, the thing is, it is not really about the motivation, because motivation is all about the extrinsic motivation, the intrinsic motivation, but it's not really about the motivation. The game is, it really begins with the momentum. So I'm going to be breaking down the step-by-step process to how you can actually build the momentum and just keep it, right? So listen, the first thing is like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to build that momentum up with, right? It's got to do with your habit. It has got to do with your habit. There's nothing beyond, there's nothing above, there's nothing below. It's just the habit. That's where the story stays. That's where the story ends. Okay? It's like, if you want to stop smoking, if you want to stop any of the addiction per se, or if you want to pick up any healthy habits, or if you just want to start a business and get that momentum going, right? So how you need to do it is, you need to take a very structured approach. Okay? And I'm going to give you this analogy because it just works like perfect. Okay? So when you lose, or probably when you're like starting from the scratch, okay, you really do not have any idea as to how how the journey is going to go. Okay, so in that case, what are you going to do, right? So the thing is, you need to start at some point, and I'll tell you where that point begins. So you sit and you really think. That's called as a critical thinking, right? It's not just about random thinking. You got to do the critical thinking. You got to sit and you really need to analyze. First is like, what type of person you are, right? Are you a person who's like, works like a lion mode, right? Every time when you're hungry, you just go hunt, and rest of the time you're like that, right? It's all about the sprint and rest and sprint and rest. Or you're on the other side. There is a steady supply of consistency that's happening in you. You need to understand that and establish it, so your decisions will be much better. I hope you're with me until now. Now, here's what the thing is. My analogy is, when I get to that let's say that I want to get into a program. So what I do is, like, for me to stay in shape, 2 months, I'm going to be on a solid diet every year. The rest 10 months, I just eat. But, I program my training. Now, here's the thing, right? Every time when I'm just wanted to train, when I get into the training, or when I get to that particular point, my body, my mind just asks me, it's okay, just sleep for some more time, just sleep for some more time. It happens pretty much with everybody. I make sure that I wake up like every day, 4 o'clock, right? 3:30, 4 o'clock, that's my time. But sometimes I get these days like, man, it's okay, just sleep for some more time, right? So I'm talking about the momentum, and I'm talking about the first day. So how you actually get there by talking on the first day, right? Now I'm going to break that down. Now I want to take that first step. And for me to take that first step, my brain is not letting me do that. Why? Because I just want to stay here. The bed is warm, it's cozy, it's nice, and it's raining outside. So you just want to chill for some more time, right? Now what you're going to do is, all you have to do is just moving your hand. What do I mean by that? Moving your hand, just hold your blanket, and then you got to take off. So this is where my entire result that is contained in this particular journey that I'm about to go, it is all depending on me moving my fingers. That is how hard your brain fights for you to stay in your comfort zone. Are you getting it? That is the resistance that you need to build, and you need to fight through that shit. Now what you're going to do is just move your fingers. When you move your fingers, you tend to move. So at that point, you know what you really need to do? You should not give your mind the time or the space to think. When you don't give your mind the time or the space to think, that means you're focused on the action. And the action over here is moving your hand, holding the blanket, and then taking it off. When you take it off, then you're off. Take it off and then just go, do your thing, right? So the action is begun. And this process, actually, I have learned it from this book called The War of Art. It's all about the starting. Only when you start, then things will happen. Now you won on day one. The same shit is going to happen on the next day, on the next day, on the next day. So the first, usually, whatever you're trying to do, right? I mean, you're quitting your smoking, you want to quit your drinking, or you want to break any of the addictions, or you want to just make a new habit, right? So usually the first 4 or 5 days it's the most difficult. And then once your brain starts patronizing the whole process, then things will start getting a little easy. When I say easy, your mind is trying to find that comfort in that uncomfortable. Okay, this is on the initial stage. Now I'll tell you, we have not gone to the momentum side yet. Now when you do this for some time and you get used to that shit, now you're going. But the thing is, you need to be really careful about not looking for the results, not looking for the improvement, not looking for the progress, because it's just 5 days. Anything that you're trying to build like monumental, quitting smoking, of course it is like huge, right? Or just trying to get in shape, it's huge. Trying to start build a business, it is huge. So whatever you're trying to do on the first initial stages, I would strongly suggest you, do not look for results or the progress. Okay, don't look at the belly, don't look at the bank balance, don't look at the progress, just don't. Okay, just don't. That's my advice. Now, whatever you're doing, you're battling through so much of shit. Why? Because it means to you a lot. Am I right or not? You're looking for a new job, it means to you. That shit means to you something, and that is why you're doing it. But for you to put in the work, that's the process that we're talking about. Okay, so when you do this for over a period of time, I would say approximately 1 month to 5 years. And that's very subjective, because we are talking about different scenarios over here, right? Different levels of situations. Your goal could be like, you want to build $1 million business, or you want to, make a career in your, make a progress in your career, or it could be just, you want to quit smoking, or you want to get healthy, whatever it is. So just give it some time. So for the first 30 days, I want to keep it as an average. For the first 30 days, you keep grinding, and then you sort of, patronize the whole procedure. When this thing goes on, and it goes on smooth, right? Now, there is something called as a momentum that builds up. That is probably the second last stage of your journey. I hope you're with me. The second last stage of the journey. When you build that momentum, that means you're not really, you're trying to impress yourself, because there is a sense of accomplishment, there's a sense of achievement that you get after you have completed that particular task. Okay? So your brain is trying to find that reward. So I need that reward. So for me to get that reward, I need to complete this task. So only then I would be able to get it. That's a reward. So you are going through this one. So entire process, make it friendly. You're most likely to do this because you're looking for the reward. And those rewards cannot be achieved in the first few days. That's why I'm telling you, first few days are usually difficult. When you push through that for a while, you start getting that reward. Now here's the catch. You build the momentum, you keep going, then whatever the situations that life is throwing at you, you're not going to stop, because your momentum is going on, right? Unless it's like heavy, like, I don't know, like you're having an injury and then now you can't work out. Now that is like a serious shit, but that's a worst case scenario, but you get the point, okay? So you build the momentum, it keeps going on for a while, and now I would take this to the next level. That's where the obsession is coming into play. See, the thing is, it can be looked into two ways. One is the obsession at heart. Are you getting it? Like, fuck, I was born to do this shit and I'm gonna do it. And that's it. That's like, the typical analogy that I can give you is mostly like the boxes. The boxes, they put their life in that. They dedicate and they put their life into it, and there's nothing else. There's no other world. There's no other life exists on the outside. It's all about staying in the zone, focused, and prepare 365 days. And that's all they live. That's all they breathe. That's all they do. Okay? So that becomes an obsession. Now, this obsession thing, right? When people don't find their obsession, that is where all these work-life balance, I am tired, all of that kind of shit is coming into play. But I'll tell you what, anybody and everybody can find the obsession. And I'll tell you when people recognize your results. Not necessarily they have to talk to you about it, not necessarily they have to appreciate you about it, but when they notice that result, when they talk about that result to you or to anybody else, when you get to that point, that is like an ultimate reward for your brain. Okay? So that means regardless of whatever the obstacles that life is giving you, like if life is like giving you lemons, you're gonna make a lemonade out of that. And still be like, you know what, this is my shit and I'm gonna do it anyways, because it's not momentum that I'm talking about. Momentum is still being in the chain, being in the grind, being in that conveyor belt. But obsession is like you're putting your heart into it. You get in the point. That means, yes, you do care about the result, but you're so much in love with the journey because, the whole shit is happening and the world is finally recognizing you. Right? So that's the way how people can get driven, how you can get driven. Enjoy the process, stay hard and kill it. Make it big. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.